by the way, there is one more subject that I'd like to cover here today, and I want to mention it, and that is the string shapes fretboard. What it is these indicators here. First thing, let me draw your attention to these banners. And that is, before we do the right and the left in the fourth and fifth, because we did that yesterday, but I wanted to show you how you can teach cage on individual strings with the string shapes. These are the string shapes. So you just learn these string shapes. And what are the string shapes? How did they get derived? How did we derive those string shapes? These are the bottom strings of each of the cages, of the cage shapes. So if you look at C, the key of C, you look at the C shape C. Okay, the bottom string is 3, 4, 5 in C. And then we go to the G, go to the A shape C. Okay, we're going to start from the fifth here. Then the bottom string is 5, 6 in the A shape. So that gives us the A shape. And the E shape, again, one more. We'll do the E shape C. We skip the G shape C. Okay, so in anyway, in the E shape C, the bottom string is 7 root 2. Now remember, the 7 happens to be the diatonic at that point, but it's still the E shape. So that's how we get the string shapes themselves. All right, now these banners here, these are where the connectivity notes are between caged. So we have C to the A shape, and I had to put, notice I had to put this is cage, C, A, G, E, D. And then I have them both going from D to C again, A, G, E, D. Now look at these guys up here. Look at these guys. C, A, A, G, G, E, E, D, D, C, C, A, G, G, E, E, D. I think that's the last one. So it's caged. Caged. C, A, G, E, D, E, D. You know what I'm saying? We've got cage covered not only twice in shapes, so we have to I have to have the banners alternating because they overlap. So I had to go top, bottom, and when I went to double cage shapes, I actually had to make another row up here. But remember, these guys, say the 7 root 2 in the GE shape right here. Let me get into cursor mode so I can zoom in a little bit. So is it going to draw then, or is it not going to draw? It's not going to draw. Okay, so then we got to get out of cursor mode into draw mode. So the GE shape, from way up on this banner, it still is covering the GE shape right there. So that's it. That's the GE shape right there. And 7 root is the shared note, and you'll see that on the top string here. Easiest, because it's referencing the top string. Because remember, the top string and the bottom string are the same, and that's not just, you know, unintentional. It works out that way as you stack the pattern stack. The top string and the bottom string are the actual, the top string is the pattern repeating again. It's not just thrown there for an arbitrary reason. Hey, look, this is 6 and 6 there. Oh, isn't that convenient? But it actually starts the pattern over again. So if you had an imaginary 12-string guitar, I mean a real 12-string guitar, like literally 12 strings, then you would have the 2, 3, 4 on top of that 6, 7 root and start the whole thing over again, 5, 6, going on and on. So this is the GE banner. It covers the G and the E, and there They're overlapped like that. That covers that. So that's good. And then we have every particular instance of the sharing of those cage shapes. So where the CA, now this brings us to the string pair circle. Okay, so this is another thing you might want to commit to memory in the way that make it easier. The way I'm saying it today is, if it's easier to memorize, go ahead and memorize something. People used to memorize formulas, say physics is fun. F equals mu n. Well, mu is that Greek letter that looks like an E. It looks like, no, that's epsilon. That looks like a U, and then n. So the force equals the number of newtons times mu, and all they tell you is mu equals F over n, whatever, force over the number of newtons. I forget what it is, but they tell you to memorize it and make it a little easier. So instead of going around the circle and saying G is the fifth of C, D is the fifth of G, etc., etc., and then we have the anomaly there where the fifth of E is B, but it's an augmented. Just remember the letters, and it's so much easier. C, G, D, A, E. C, G, D, A, warp up E. Just like that, instead of thinking about it each time. Now if you're going to be going to the left, you have to do the fourth of it, so you'd have to kind of go C, G, D, then back to G. So let's see how that works. It would be C, G, D, then back to G. So you got C, G, D, D, G, C. They're going in fourths. But if you mix yourself up before you get comfortable with just memorizing in fifth, then you're going to have to go back to just realizing what you're doing, which is going up the strings is in fifths, going down the strings in fourth, going to the left on the fretboard is in fourths, going to the right on the fretboard in string shapes that are not connected. They are isolated. They are bookend isolated. Well, they're not particularly bookend isolated, but these shapes are dead neighbors. Right there, you have one. You have a property line that they both have to share. Right. The only place where that doesn't exist is in between the E and the C shape, where there's that missing fret down there. A river runs through it. So talking about memorization, so it's easier to look at root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 being your major scale, or starting on 7 and then going back to root. Root would be the GE shape, meaning that root is the shared note in between the GE shape. Let's find the GE shape. Hello, GE shape. Right here, not only is root the shared note, but 7 is the shared note, because root and 7 and 3 and 4 are the shared double notes in 2 of the shapes. In D and C we have the 3 and 4 shared, and in G and E we have the 7 and the root shared. So here's G and E. And I've shown the flag notes on the top string. Perhaps if that's where the banner is. Now remember, the banner covers the amount of fretboard that we're concerned with here. So the GE banner covers this G, this overlap region, and into the C, the tripentatonic there. Alright, so the banner from the top, the GE banner, is going to show your 7 root only on the top string. The banner down here is the AG banner. Here's your A tripentatonic region, and here's your G tripentatonic region. So the whole thing, that AG banner right there, is like that, right? We've got to include the G, include the A.